Peace is possible on the Korean Peninsula and throughout the world. Some 85 global leaders at the annual World Summit 2022 in Seoul discussed just that in February.
존경하는 지도자 여러분, 한 방울의 물들이 모여 대를 이루듯 이러한 평화와 통일의 여정들을 통해 그동안 인연된 수많은 정상급 지도자들을 모시고 오늘부터 2월 14일까지 한반도 평화 서밋을 개최하게 되었습니다.
This tangible vision is spearheaded by summit host and Universal Peace Federation co-founder Dr. Hak Jahan Moon.
나와 하나 되는 남과 북이 형제가 되는 자리에서 세계 평화, 통일이 우리 시대에 당대에 이루어질 수 있습니다.
A native of North Korea, Dr. Moon and her late husband, Reverend Sun Myung Moon, dedicated their lives to peacefully reunifying their homeland, an effort with great regional and global implications. 3,500 international media outlets covered the World Summit, reaching hundreds of millions of people throughout Asia Pacific and the world. News headlines from digital platforms to traditional newspapers, all capturing the scope of this incredible plan in which 157 nations with diplomatic ties to North and South Korea were invited to the three-day event.
The World Summit 2022, Summit for Peace on the Korean Peninsula, honored a British
57 countries will take part in the World Summit 2022 that will encourage peaceful coexistence among nations.
The Universal Peace Federation, together with the government of Cambodia, is hosting a World Summit this week to discuss peace in the Korean Peninsula.
So you can register today and attend virtually and support this great work for peace. So check it out and I'll see you guys there. Okay, bye!
Summit co-chair and Cambodia Prime Minister Hun Sen proposed that both Koreas consider his initiative, two states toward one nation, one peninsula, one people, one culture, as the first steps to building trust and confidence with the ultimate goal of ensuring peace on the peninsula.
កិច្ចប្រជុំកម្ពុជាពិភពលោកឆ្នាំ 2022 បានរៀបចំឡើងនៅក្នុងអំឡុងពេលនៃការប្រកួតប្រជែងភូមិសាស្ត្រនយោបាយកាន់តែតឹងតែង ទន្ទឹមនេះដែរពិភពលោករបស់យើងក៏កំពុងតភ្ជាប់គ្នាទៅវិញទៅមកនិងពឹងផ្អែកគ្នាទៅវិញទៅមកកាន់តែខ្លាំងដូច្នេះហើយយើងត្រូវការធ្វើការជាមួយគ្នាដើម្បីសម្របសម្រួលការឆ្លើយតបជាសកលចំពោះបញ្ហាសកលដែលកំពុងកើតឡើងនេះតែយើងត្រូវការកិច្ចសន្ទនាដោយសន្តិវិធីនិងការចរចាជ្រះជ្រះ ដើម្បីបញ្ចប់សង្គ្រាមវិតរបស់ខ្ញុំនេះដំណើរការចរចាគឺជាជំរើសដ៏ល្អបំផុតខ្ញុំមិនដែលជឿទេថាប្រើប្រាស់សង្គ្រាមដើម្បីបញ្ចប់សង្គ្រាម
Noting Cambodia's experience of war and peacemaking efforts, the Prime Minister said peace brings hope, development, respect for human rights, and democracy. More women peace leaders have also emerged in his country.
The lessons from war and conflict have equipped us with resiliency and also motivated us to take leadership in maintaining regional peace and security. In the 1990s, Cambodia used to receive the UN peacekeepers. Now, since 2006, Cambodia has deployed 7,826 peacekeepers to join in a UN peacekeeping operation in war-torn countries. 494 of them are women. We are proud of being ranked 13 among the 122 nations in terms of contribution of women peacekeepers, and among ASEAN countries, we are second only to Indonesia.
Its mission clear, this one-of-a-kind World Summit aims to end the Cold War's last remaining division of the Korean Peninsula, applauded by many current and former heads of state who delivered remarks in person and virtually using state-of-the-art technology.
අද දින මෙම සමුළුවට මා සහභාගී වන්නේ ඉතාමත්ම සතුටින්. විශේෂයෙන්ම කොරියානු වර්ධද්වීපයේ සාමය සඳහා වූ බෙදුණු බෝගූලීය ඒකක දෙකක් එක්සත් කිරීමට ගත් විශ්වාය පිළිබඳව දිගු ඉතිහාසයක් තිබෙනවා. දකුණේ මහා පරිමාණ පුනරුදයක් සිදුව ඇතත් උතුරේ මෙම තත්ත්වය ඊට වඩා වෙනස්. උතුරේ ආර්ථිකය බිඳ වැටීම දුක්ඛිතභාවය පුළුල්ව ඇති වී තිබෙනවා. මෙවන් තත්ත්වයක් අන් එක්සත් නොවුණු සමහර කරදරකාරී රටවල් වල දකින්න පුළුවන්.
Korea can eventually become a shining example to the world of how peace can arise from conflict. Hopefully, persistence and dedication to continued communications between North and South will make this possible. Peace is the natural state of mankind. Peace is the precondition for material progress that all nations strive for. We have great institutions such as the UN dedicated to peace, but the efforts of institutions of peace will remain intangible without the efforts of individuals working within their communities to provide the ground level, day-to-day foundation for lasting peace.
The reality tells us that the United Nations simply cannot do more than what its member states agree to carry out in a spirit of collaboration, mutual trust, and consensus building in accordance with the United Nations Charter. In this context, the work of the UPF is quite meaningful because through this robust platform, we can lay the initial groundwork that allows the path to peace.
What we learned through this challenging time in my country and around the planet is that there's nothing that's impossible when nations work together for the common good. That said, the dream of a united Korea is possible.
We must join hands and make concerted efforts to douse the raging fires of conflicts, animosities, and distrust, impeding progress and well-being of our people through increased cooperation, harmony, and dialogue.
Speakers highlighted challenges to peace, like resistance to denuclearization, foreign troops in South Korea, strained relations in the Asia-Pacific region, and core differences in the values between the two systems.
70 years ago, when war broke out on the Korean Peninsula, the Philippines became the first Asian country to send contingent forces to aid South Korea. Right then and there, on the battlefield, a lasting brotherhood was formed between the Filipino and Korean nation.
Being the birthplace of Buddha, the apostle of peace, one of the fundamental bases of Nepal's foreign policy is to work and promote world peace. Nepal had experienced a violent conflict of 10 years before our peace process started. It took almost a decade before democracy was fully restored and our new constitution promulgated. This whole process was a Nepali-owned and Nepali-led venture. We were grateful to the international community for their support and encouragement.
I truly believe that parliamentary diplomacy is a powerful platform to advance the culture of peace. It has been more than 7 decades that the Korean War has started. Although the war did end in July 1953 with the signing of this armistice in Panmunjom. A peace treaty has yet to be realized, and it is indeed in this spirit that I appeal to the international community, especially the government of the two Korea, to work hard so that a peace treaty could be reached in some point.
We must go beyond an armistice to a peace treaty. The DMZ needs to open. Families need to be reunited. Cultures need to interact. The reunification of the Korean Peninsula will be a very substantial, powerful, and positive force for good.
So just what could peace on the Korean Peninsula look like? Summit speakers offered a range of solutions, including the encouragement of new friendships with the North Korean people through trade, tourism, and cultural exchanges, and the development of an Asia-Pacific Union.
The contribution of the co-founders of the Universal Peace Federation are admirable. The proposal to the family of Asia-Pacific nations to establish an Asia-Pacific Union is a visionary idea, and I hope we can discuss further to materialize it.
We do not presume to know each person's struggles, but we can offer our heartfelt compassion and willingness to move forward together, side by side, as brothers and sisters in our pursuit for peace.
Despite recent missile launches from North Korea, great strides for peace have been established, with former U.S. President Donald Trump's historic visit to the DMZ in 2019 for talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. This built on South Korean President Moon Jae-in's trip to Pyongyang in 2018. World Summit leaders emphasized the importance of international cooperation, focusing on spiritual values as essential to usher in a new culture of peace.
With the preparation towards today's World Summit, I have been reflecting on all the UPF summits I have been fortunate to be a part of since my very first with the Universal Peace Federation in Seoul, 2013. Unification of the Korean Peninsula has been at the forefront of the agenda every year. Every year, from my own experience and feelings, I have felt the strength, the faith and belief of everyone participating in the summit that unification is possible and will happen in our lifetimes.
यस कार्यमा बहुक्षेत्रीय समाजले महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका खेल्न सक्छन्। अन्तर्निर्भर विश्व व्यवस्थामा यस्ता महत्त्वपूर्ण कार्यका लागि अन्तर्देशीय सहकार्यको विकल्प छैन। उपक्षेत्रीय, क्षेत्रीय र अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय सहकार्यका लागि यस प्रकारका अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय संवाद बढाउँदै लैजानु जरुरी छ।
Please join me in working, striving and praying for a Korea that is safe, prosperous, flourishing, united and finally at peace.
In a letter, former Prime Minister of Japan Shinzo Abe said he believed honest dialogue among world leaders is crucial for peace on the Korean Peninsula, saying we cannot build trust without honesty. Working with Cambodia's Asian Vision Institute, a resolution was signed at the summit by Dr. Moon and co-chairs Prime Minister Hun Sen of Cambodia and former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, now to be implemented through the outlined next steps.
We hope very much to build on the foundation of these recommendations going forward and make impact and a difference in our world for the sake of peace, particularly here in Korea, but more widely in Northeast Asia and throughout the Asia-Pacific and worldwide region.
The Asian Vision Institute, based in Phnom Penh, served as Asia-Pacific Secretariat for Think Tank 2022 and the World Summit 2022. The Institute is an independent think tank that applies Asian cultural values to address regional and global issues.
The summit signifies the humanity's love for peace as we were able to unite leaders from across the globe from different schools of thought. World Summit 2022 is extremely timely and relevant, especially with the political climate of this time. It created a platform for all leaders and leaders of different fields to convene and engage in serious dialogue.
Previous World Summit speakers have also shared similar calls for peace through UPF's pillars of interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values.
Our duty is not just to live and endure the times, but to take stock of it, calibrate the crisis, mitigate risks, and find lasting solution.
Already, new breakthroughs are happening. UPF is looking to transition from a non-governmental organization to a state partnership organization so as to interact with governments around the world.
It gave a vision of leadership on the global level that the world is yearning to have. UPF, partnering with the Cambodian government, was able to show a civil society government partnership that really is unseen today in the world. And this is important because the content that we dealt with were the issues that have to be dealt with from a moral perspective, from a political perspective, from an academic, religious perspective. We were able to cover so many different areas and give clarity to these fundamental issues.
From topics covering moral and political perspectives to academia and media, as well as economic, cultural, and religious views, the unique summit captured the world's hope for peace from all sectors of society.
Peace is not just the destination. Peace is also the journey. That journey has seen the UPF make progressive steps towards this vision, and it is my sincere hope and prayer that peace will be achieved for the Korean Peninsula very soon.
On-the-ground work has taken off to bring this vision of peace to grassroots communities.
On the micro level, I'm here in the Philippines, and we're reaching out to mayors and governors, and we're sharing with them the content. It gives tremendous hope and synergy, both on the macro world level and on the national level, and even in the local level.
So what's next? Bigger and better, a goal of UPF's next World Summit, and possibly bringing it to Pyongyang, where North Korean leaders can join the global conversation of sustainable peace and reunifying the Korean Peninsula. Anyone can get involved and support UPF's World Summit and this global movement for peace by registering online.